Last episode, I built a storage yard on the docks, a train station for the newest area, and even a shiny new passenger train. Today, I built a massive factory jammed full of machinery to produce tons of iron, gold, zinc, and copper. And dead bushes. But Beardy, you've already got an iron farm. And a gold farm. Which is true. Kinda. I mean, I do have an iron farm over here in my starter area, but it's tiny and needs upgrading. I've probably not grabbed anything from this for a couple of weeks, and, well, it's been running the whole time, and that's all we've got, which is okay, but it could be a lot better. And my gold farm, well, that was accidental, and lives in here. It's just a byproduct of trying to get quartz for upstairs. So it's unoptimized and generally terrible, considering it's been running for 2 months, and we have 667 ingots. But I'm also going to automate copper and zinc. But how's that even possible? As standard, zinc is not renewable in Create. You basically just have to dig it up. It's the one thing that's always hard to get hold of. And copper, well, you can get using vanilla mechanics, of course, because you can get it from drowned zombies. But in my perfect world, we can automate tough by mixing andesite, diorite, and lava, which is brilliant because if we crush down tough, we have a chance of getting gold, copper, zinc, and iron nuggets. I have no idea why it's showing that twice. And of course, once we get those nuggets, we can compact them down into ingots and feed them into the rest of our storage system, meaning we'll never run out again. But that's the good news. Bad news, it's really not a quick process to get there. And when doing a long, complicated project like this, I think it makes sense to plan. So we're going to make use of this big open space here and work out what we need to do. And I'm going to start by laying down the things I know that we're going to end up getting from our tuff. So let's just put a block of tuff there and connect all of these up. And we also need to get tough. We need to mix together andesite, diorite, and lava. But the problem is the diorite in particular is extremely slow. We've only got it sort of set up to make enough for us to build with, not for us to turn into a massive farm. And the andesite is already being used over in the blaze cake factory, so that means we need to produce more of each of these. Lava, of course, not an issue because we've got an infinite lava pool. We can just drag it from there. So that means we need to produce both andesite and diorite independently of anything else. And the easiest way to make andesite is, of course, to use gravel with a couple of flints. And this is easy enough because we can get the flint here from the gravel, and of course we get gravel from cobblestone, so fairly straightforward just to get the andesite over here. Diorite, however, a little bit more tricky. Now to make diorite, we need equal amounts of cobble and quartz. Cobble, once again, very easy. So to get quartz, we need to wash soul sand. To get soul sand, we need to haunt sand. To get sand, we crush gravel. And to get gravel, of course, we crush cobble. But there's another problem. Because gravel produces flint, although I suppose we can just feed that over there. Sand produces clay balls, and washing soul sand will also produce gold, although only in very small amounts. Although I suppose that's not really a problem, we can just feed that over to here. Now the question is, what are we going to do with the clay balls? So we're going to compact them into clay blocks, we're going to cook it into terracotta, we're going to crush it into red sand, and then that's going to give us gold and dead bushes. But that's fine. So that is basically what we're making today. A massive factory of stuff and things, and it all relies on cobble. And I do want this thing to be averagely effective, so we're going to be doing two things for the cobble. We're going to be importing it from over in those factories, but we're also going to have some generators built into the system just so it can keep up. So I'm going to jump into free cam and take a picture of this. Uh-oh. Oh, dang it. That was bad timing. Bad timing. Get out of it. Go down that hole. Oh man, it destroyed my little diagram. Trying to take a picture of that. So I've slept and I'm hiding on a nearby rooftop. Let's grab that screenshot. And I guess we should probably build a giant factory before we begin and then try and cram everything in. That's what we usually do. And I am quite liking this area here for a factory. It will kind of connect the two areas together. And it means I can finally deal with this horrible road. I really hate this road. So much so that before I did anything else, I tore that road out and moved it off to one side. I then marked out a foundation and built the platform level with the upper section of the area. But as I was building the sides, I realized I could make this area a little bit more interesting. The idea was to have a basement pickup area for the produced resources. So I lowered the ground, added a road that will eventually connect up on the other side, and now I have a great big platform with nothing on it. I do really like the idea of having a sort of collection depot area down here, and as I say, we're going to feed that road all the way through and connect that back up on this side over here. But I'm hoping that this giant space we have here is going to be enough to actually build all of this. But as usual, because I like making my life difficult, I think I want to build a building before I try and cram everything in it. I want to make sure it's going to look good from the outside, and I don't really want to be restricted by the machines. So yeah, we'll just sort of cram stuff in where we need to. And palette-wise, I want to try and avoid using the same sort of blocks we've got over here and here, but have a similar kind of palette that still ties in. And in fact, with that in mind, I might grab more of these blocks here. What were these? Umber bricks, which I think are made with scoria. Yep, that means we can make loads of these to make a giant building. And my plan to get this building up is going to be loose. At best. I'm basically going to plonk down a big square and then start attaching other squares to it with different materials, and then hopefully at the end of that we'll be able to tie it all together and make it look like a nice building. It's pretty much been my building process for most of this area. Right, let's stick all of them in there, and that should make us all of the umber bricks we're going to need. Well, this should be more than enough to get me started. We'll just let them keep producing in the meantime. But I'm also going to need a secondary block that we can use for sort of pillars and things like that. Do we use tuff or stone or something? Maybe we could use some fancy tuff blocks. Let's try the thick inlaid tuff, and maybe actually try the pillar tuff blocks as well. And we'll just see what works. We'll take a few framed blocks as well, just so we can mark out some windows and things. I think this should be good to get started. And it's raining again. Quick nap later, and we've cleared up the rain. So I think the sensible thing to do is work out a rough size for this building. So for the main building, maybe about that sort of size, and then that leaves some space out the front and around the side for a bit of decoration. But I should probably figure out how these walls are going to look, and I did bring these tuff blocks with me. I'm wondering if we can use these to make some form of sort of pillars or something. I think what I'm going to do is maybe just sort of build up this corner and a small section of the wall, see if we can get a design we like, and then we can sort of repeat that all the way around. I think that's going to make the most sense for us to do. We did bring some of these walls with us. Maybe we could do something like this. Do we want double wide pillars, or is that going to make things awkward? And how's that going to work on the corners? Maybe I should fill in this bit as well. Okay, not bad. I quite like the colours. I think that could work. But let's add a great big window. Actually, let's take this all the way to the top. I've got an idea. Okay, it looks potentially a little bit tall at the moment, but what I'm thinking is we can maybe put another ledge up here. Something like this, just as a trim for the roof. Not bad, not bad. I think it's coming together. But if we're going to want to put windows in here, because we've got an arch at the top, it does mean all the walls are going to need to be double thick, which means we're going to need a lot more of these bricks, I guess. But if we get those in, and let's go grab some glass. Oh, we can steal that from here. But I do want to dye the glass and make it look nice, so let's maybe head back to our main area and see what dyes we've got. Well, we've got lots of black, white, and greys. We've got a bit of red and blue. Well, I say a bit of red. We've got loads of red, and we've got some blue, tiny bit of orange. Maybe blue? I don't think we should be using red with these bricks. I don't think that's going to set it off very well. But before we start dyeing glass, can we test... Okay. So we've got some blue stained glass and some light blue glass. Maybe we could use, like, a combination of these things? How does it sit with these bricks? Oh, it's quite nice, actually. Yeah, let's give that a go. So we'll take what we've got here. Oh, we've got loads of this. And let's just make a bunch more. And we'll make some light blue ones as well, just so we can mix it up a little bit, give it a bit of texture. Now, let's see if this is going to work. Oh, that looks quite nice, actually. I like that. The wall's looking a little bit flat, though, but I wonder, can we chuck these things in a stone cutter, maybe? Yeah, look at that. Although, I don't think we want any of these variants. I'm fairly sure there is a cracked version of this brick, though, so let's just chuck a few into the furnace over here. Let's see what happens to those. Well, they're doing something. Aha, yep, there we go. We do get cracked umber bricks. Excellent. And thanks to our brand new moss farm, I believe we should be able to make some mossy ones as well. Not what I meant to do. So we do that and that. Yep, there we go. So we get some mossy ones. Probably get some mossy stone bricks for the floor below it as well. And what we're also going to do is grab a bit of terracotta, because I believe that's what we used over here. Ah, we used light grey terracotta. Yoink. And we'll turn that into light grey terracotta tile. And then we'll add a few texture patches here and there and see how it looks, I guess. You know what? I think we're almost there. This is starting to look pretty good. Maybe let's just sort out the roof line a bit more. If we were to bring those up a tiny bit extra, grab some industrial iron ingots, I believe we should be able to make some handrails or something. Yeah, here we go. Oh, maybe not that many. Got a bit overexcited there, but we can run this rail across the edge of the roof here as well. And what do we think? I reckon that could work quite nicely, actually. If we have, like, windows going down the front here, maybe we could put a couple of sort of garage entrances in on one side, just to break it up a little bit. But I think for the most part, this could work well. We'll probably do something simpler on the sides, just with small windows at the top or something. But round the back, to be honest, we might just stick the big windows in again. But either way, I've got a lot of blocks to place and double thick walls at that, so I best crack on. That's one side down. I think this is going to work quite nicely. We'll have a foot entrance here. We'll have a couple of sort of dry-the-uppy bits that, to be honest, I don't think we're going to use, so I might just sort of put the doors up on them. But let's sort out the rest of these walls, shall we? A short while later, I think we're looking pretty good. I've got the basics of the, well, at least the bottom layer of the building in, I suppose. I've also put up a fence around the outside here, but I'm not really sold on it at the moment. But the building continues all the way around. It's all decorated. It's all nicey-nicey. Apart from this wall here. And that's because what I actually want to do is stick another bit on this side of the building. And I think something like that should do the trick. It adds a bit of height, adds a splash of colour. Although maybe it could do with some kind of exterior stairs or something on the side, maybe. But we'll come back to that. We need to sort out an upper floor for this thing. And I think I'm just going to chuck down a couple of boxes and stick some roofs on them and kind of go from there. Question is, what blocks do I want to use? Maybe we could use some deep slate. We haven't used that on a building in a while. And maybe some of these oak bonded bricks. They're quite nice as well. Progress is being made. I think those little buildings work quite well at the top there, but it still needs a bit more, really, doesn't it? I think we could do with a couple of big old chimneys here, maybe a couple of tanks or something on the roof, and I really think I do want to get a staircase in over on this bit. But then we might have a building that hopefully we can fit all of our machines inside. I mean, we do have 2 floors, so I think we should be okay. And this is a pretty big area in here. There we go, that's better, and apart from some finishing details and some bits on the outside, I'm pretty happy with that, and I think we're probably good to actually make a start on our machines, which are all going to be in here. And although we may end up with a cobble generator in here as well, initially I want to see if we can just run it off of importing the cobble from over there. And that means we're going to need somewhere to store all of this cobble, and I'm wondering if literally just a big pile of cobble out here should be our starting point, because that way we can have a van that comes along, goes into a yard here, drops off the cobble, just goes back over there and so on, and that will be his little route. And then from the big pile of cobble over here, we can have a big old conveyor belt rampy type thing that goes into the building, and then we can start on our machines. And that will save us a tiny bit of space for the inside as well, I guess. Which I guess means we're not quite ready to start doing the machines yet, because I need to prep this area for a big old gravel pile. That should do the trick nicely. We just need to put a giant vault in the middle of it and get some other crate bits to get the cobble into this room. And we're going to need a whole lot of cobble to hide the vault as well. So let's start with a big old vault to hold the cobble. And we're also going to need a way to get that cobble into the vault. So this makes sense. Nice and simple. And then we need to get the cobble out of the vault and into this building. So let's do something like this. Then if we use a belt to go through this wall here, we can just sort of link that up on the inside. Though it does look a bit flimsy, so let's give it some support as well. That should do it. Now I just need to get this linked up to the power, and the easiest way for me to do that is just to dig in this general direction until we find some. And here it is. There we go. This will do. Ow! There we go. We now have power. Now I just need to hide this thing inside a giant pile of cobble. Ta-da! Just need to make sure that we actually get a truck of something coming over here to actually drop it off. I also need to fix all the rail under this road, because currently it kind of goes down at this angle that we had before. So I guess I'm going to spend a little bit of time messing around with the trains and the trucks, and hopefully when I bring you back, we'll have cobble being delivered over here. Well, that took a lot longer than I cared to admit. Suffice to say, this video might actually end up being a day late. But I have sorted out all the tracks under here now, and I've got the andesite van coming over to here, dropping off the cobble, and so on. But I did run into a few problems. But those problems weren't actually here. I noticed over here that my lava tank was emptying, which I thought was strange because it shouldn't be, because it should still be getting topped up from the liquid train. So I went over to our Acacia village and had a look around, and the power station over there had stopped working. And basically there just seemed to be some sort of problem with my force loaded chunks on FTB, so I've had to go around and reset all of my force loaded chunks because they just weren't working for some reason. But that took quite a long time to figure out, and then after that I did actually sort out this truck here, although what I've done is I've set it up to a different cobble collection point. valves. Although in saying that, it would help if I actually put the funnel on it. And then it drives all the way over here. It pulls in here. I have actually had to change this bit because the trucks were just a little bit too big to be able to sort of turn around the corner and have it look natural. So now they just pull in, they offload there. It goes into the vaults, which I should probably hide. And I've also got a threshold switch on here so that I can turn off that cobble thing there, the sort of second pickup, when it's not needed anymore. Otherwise, the andesite van's just going to get full up with cobble and then not be able to do its andesite job. And we can't have that now. But I'm pleased to say that now we have cobble coming into this building, we can actually start on our sort of massive diagram of stuff and things. And on looking at this, we've basically got sort of 4 different zones. We've got the andesite making area, we've got the diorite making area, we've got the red sand to gold making area, and of course we've got the final stage. And this one looks like it's going to be the simplest, so I might start there. And the first step here is going to be just to bring this conveyor belt in and potentially just drop everything into a vault. And it doesn't need to be a particularly big vault, so I think we're just going to use these shipping containers because, well, they do seem to contain stuff, just not quite as much as a normal vault. But we only really need it for separating out the cobble into 3 different directions, so yeah, it doesn't really need to store much, to be honest. So a couple of smart chutes going into that, and we'll give that some andesite scaffolding to sit on, and then just power the second belt, and that should all load into the vault. Yep, so it's already stopped, and it's only holding 1,728, so it's almost like each block holds a stack. As I say, we only need it for splitting out the cobble, so that's fine. And I think we're going to start here with the andesite one, because it is the smallest, and this is pretty much the smallest wall that we're going to be building up against, so I think that makes sense. So first things first, for this one, we want the cobble coming out, and then splitting it into 3 different rows. So we'll just use belts and tunnels, and we don't want stuff flying off the end, so we'll just make sure that's blocked. And then we're going to need to send this up an amount of blocks. How many? So we'll have a depot at this level, then we'll have the storage drawer, then we'll have a chute, millstone, chute, millstone. So we need it this high. So let's try that. Hopefully that is going to be the right height. So if we stick chutes on the side of these with millstones on top, and I'm hoping we can just funnel into the side of those. So we need 1 lot of gravel and 2 lots of flint. So I need 1 more millstone. We'll stick that one in there. Add chutes. We'll add spruce straws there. Depots in front. So that's going to give us 1 gravel and 2 flint. Next thing we need to do is to put that in a basin and get it all mixed up. So maybe we should attach some lava. And if I just keep digging this way, I should find some. And because I have extended range on my pumps, I should be able to get all the way over there without too much issue. Apart from the fact I've just run out of pipes. Ah, amazing. Look at that. Free lava. And what we need to do is have the mechanical arm pick up from there and put in there. Nice and simple. And then we need a mechanical press in there. And then the output from this we'll just send over here and probably into a vault, I guess. But it's as simple as that. That is our andesite machine. Gravel, gravel then flint, gravel and flint, lava, andesite. Simple as that. Apart from the fact none of it has power. Once we just add a few safety barriers here, I think we're all done. It's all powered. We're making andesite. It's not the fastest thing in the world, but it'll be more than enough for our needs. And it's all just going to get collected into this vault, ready to be turned into tuff. And I've also got a threshold switch as well. So when this gets 75% full or whatever it is, it'll actually turn off the whole machine, which should hopefully stop everything backing up too much. So that means all this bit's done on our little diagram here. So let's just pull this out so it looks less confusing. Right, so we've got andesite. Next up, let's make diorite, which means we need to make a whole lot of things. Now for this one, the first thing we're going to need is a belt, or maybe 2. Although I should probably move it this way a little bit, just so we've got some space by the wall. And then what we need is a couple of vertical gearboxes, a shaft in the middle with some crushing wheels. That'll turn the cobble into gravel, and then we need to turn it into sand. And at this stage, I believe we might also have some flint coming across, so we can just get rid of that. I think if we put a void thing on there, then it will just basically collect a little bit and then void the rest. We really don't need the extra flints. And then at this stage, we should have sand and clay coming down the belt. And what we need to do is separate those out. So sand will go this way, and then clay will go this way. And with the sand, what we want to do is haunt it, and then we want to wash it. And if we make sure this belt's going nice and slow, we should have enough timing here, I reckon, if we have 3 haunting and 3 water. But I really should start thinking about how I'm going to be powering all of this. And that looks like a good place to start. Then that's got that powered. Let's just put a funnel on there. So this one should be flint. This one will be sand. This one will be clay balls. Wait a minute, why is nothing running? there a problem with our cobble delivery? Okay, I think we've fixed it, so we should start having cobble coming back through again. Now, where were we? Oh, yes, power. So this should be nice and easy if we just link all of these up, then link those two together there, and connect that up. Is it going the right way? No. No, it is not. So let's just shove a gearbox in there. There we go, much better. Although it's a bit windy, so let's grab some glass. Oh, there's just been a train crash. What now? What are you doing crashing over here for? This area's never been a problem. Right, I think we just needed to brass that one up, that's all. Hopefully we won't have any more problems with that. Now, where were we? So what we need is a storage drawer there. And for now, that'll be to collect our gold nuggets. And I also need to make sure this here is nice and slow. And I think if I was to do this and this, set this to 8 and stick a large cog in here. Oh, it's going the wrong way. Let's set it to 8 going in that direction. And that's going nice and slow, hopefully slow enough to cook all the sand and wash it, but I guess we may as well test that. Let's go get some soul torches. Or soul campfires, actually, might be even easier, and I think I've got what I need to make them. Is it that, and then that, and some logs. Yep, there we go. So we'll have 6 of these. And we're going to need water for these ones, so let's just make sure it's all going to be nicely encased. And I'm hoping I can put water next to a fire. I don't think that's going to cause an issue. And hopefully that's going to be enough to sort out our sand. Let's do a quick test. This one here isn't going. That's never going to work. There we go. It got haunted in time, and hopefully it will now get washed in time. So we should end up with gold in here and quartz on the floor. Yep, there we go. There's the quartz. But apparently we didn't get a single piece of gold from that. Really? Oh, and here we go. We've just had a cobble delivery, so everything's kicked into action. Now, for this next bit, we need a mixer up here. We need a shaft there, and another one here. Connect those up, and stick a gearbox in there. And then funnels on those. Same on that. And we need one of these, and a couple of these. There we go, and that is making... Oh, no, that's not what we want. Right, okay, fair enough. We need mechanical crafters. So let's rejig this a little bit. If we do this and stick a drawer there and a drawer there, we'll have that there to take in all the quartz. And this one here to take in all the cobble. And then we'll stick a couple of depots here. And if we have mechanical crafters, say here, for example, going that way into another drawer. And if we grab a mechanical arm to take cobble and put it in there and there. And another one to take quartz and put it in the opposite to, which I think is that one and that one. Guess we'll find out in a minute. And there we go. Now we've got power. We're making diorite. And that brings us one step closer to what we need. So now we need to sort out the clay. And the first thing we want to do is turn that into clay blocks. So we'll need a mechanical press on that. And then what I want to do is cook that. So I think what we might actually be better off doing is grabbing the slow belt we've got going on over here. So at this stage, we're going to be cooking the clay, which means I need some fans and I need to give them some power. So I guess this window's going to kind of get a little bit destroyed. But that means we can jam some of these in the back. We'll fix the outside of that later. Let's make ourselves nice and safe as well from the wind. Then once we've cooked it into terracotta, we need to crush it down into red sand. And then once it's red sand, we need to wash it. And then for now, we'll have the results of that go into there, and that should give us dead bushes and gold, I think. So we've had some terracotta go through, now the red sand's being washed, and it looks like we are in fact getting the gold and the dead bushes. The system works. And of course, we're also getting many, many diorites. So I've cleared up this side of the diagram, and this is all we have left. We just need to mix andesite with lava and diorite to get our tuff, and then crush that to get these things. And that should be nice and simple, hopefully. What we'll do is we'll mix this over here, just so we've got kind of a central area by the entrance, which means we're going to need to get the andesite and the diorite over here. So let's pick a spot, say here, this will do. And we need to get some lava connected up over to the other one, which is just over there. Maybe not connect that last one yet, otherwise we'll have lava spilling everywhere. Then we'll raise that up, stick a basin on top, get that connected, and yep, you can see the lava flowing. And we're gonna need a mechanical press on top to make the tuff. So what we need to do is we need to get andesite from there over to here. And I'm thinking we can probably just do that with some belts. So we'll bring one up to there, and then another one across to there. Stick a funnel on that. And of course, make it look nice. Well, I don't know, that does feel maybe a little bit low. Kind of blocks this doorway a little bit. I wonder, maybe what we could do is just move it over by a block. Okay, that's better. So that'll bring the andesite over just fine. We'll probably want it exiting over this way. So let's just stick a belt in there. But we do still need to get the diorite in there as well. I wonder. Maybe it's finally time to play around with some weighted ejectors. We'll just throw the diorite into there, I think. So let's think about this. If we were to have a weighted ejector that launched things into... Nope, that's not how you do it. Crouch click? Yeah, there we go. So if we launch things into there from there, that's in line. And then we'll launch things to here from here. We'll set the eject size to 2, so it just does a couple at a time. And now we just need to get power to these. But I want to make sure that it's independent of the other systems, because as you can see, these ones are getting turned off. So in fact, we must be full on both diorite and andesite, because yeah, everything's turned off. So with that in mind, let's take this underground. Well, this seems to be working a treat. We've got everything going in here, and as soon as I clear this block here, it will actually make more tuff for us. Like so. And that means I just need to crush this and then store all the stuff. So we'll squeeze in some crushing just here. And from this, we're going to get 5 different things. We're going to get the 4 ingots, and of course, we're going to get flint. To get this last bit running, I think we just need to do that. We should start getting all the things. Yep, there we go. Although I don't like that order. That's better. And we've finally automated copper and zinc, which was, of course, the main aim of today. But we've also got a much better supply of gold and iron. I'm just very pleased the whole thing's working. But we've still got a lot to do. We've got other things we need to do in here. But sadly, this episode's actually due out in about 2 hours, and I've still got some editing to do. So I best get this together so you can see it on time. But I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye now.